Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and participants, a warm welcome to the Korean Dream Webinar Series 2, Voice from the North. Thank you for joining us today. I am Maria, your MC for today. I'm so excited to have all of you here for this important event.
Your voice is not audible.
Ini bilang kan?
We invite you to open your hearts and minds as we learn from one another and explore how we can work together to build a more peaceful world. Welcome to Regional Representative
Apa sih?
Gilra,
Apa tuh?
distinguished guest speakers,
Kira kakak Zoom apa sih?
as Director of Youth Program Alliance for Korea United USA, Hyun-seung Lee, as Lead Program Strategist for North Korea Initiative North Korea Escapee, and General Gede Sumertha, as lecturer in Indonesia Defense University. And all the university partners, Bina Nusantara University, Hubungan Internasional Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur, Universitas Widya Tama, Universitas Taman Siswa, Universitas Jember, Universitas Insan Cita Indonesia, Fakultas Hukum Universitas Muhammadiyah Tangerang, Tadris Bahasa Inggris UIN Imam Bonjol Padang, that already support this webinar. Let us begin this journey of peace, collaboration, and empowerment. Thank you once again for being here, and let's make this seminar a memorable and impactful experience. Before we begin, let's go over a few ground rules to ensure a smooth and respectful session for everyone. First, give full attention to the webinar. Second, mute your microphone when you are not talking. Third, keep your camera on. Fourth, use raise hand and chat to ask questions. And the last, make this room is a safe place to learn and share. Now we invite everyone to listen to our national anthem, Indonesia Raya. You can sing along or simply enjoy the moment as we honor our country. Thank you for that uplifting national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Next, it is my pleasure to welcome our special guest, Ingilra, who will give the opening remarks. Ingilra, as the regional representative of Global Peace Foundation Asia Pacific, and we are happy to have him with us today. Please join me in giving him a warm virtual welcome as he shares his thoughts. You have 5 minutes for your remarks. Time is yours.
Good day, 안녕하세요. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's webinar. It is my profound honor to be here with you, all of you. And first and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Fenica Cristianto, Chairwoman of Global Peace Foundation, Indonesia, and to all the team members who have worked tirelessly day and night to prepare this meaningful gathering. My sincere thanks also go to all the presidents and students of participating universities, and especially to our three distinguished guests, Mr. Hyun-seung, Mr. Namsik, and Mr. General Gede Sumertha. Thank you for gracing us with your presence and wisdom. Let me share some of pictures I prepared for you. Sharing. Can you see? Are you able to see? See the pictures?
No, only the black. Oh, yes, now. All right.
Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. As someone from South Korea, I often hear two contrasting views of my country. Yes, Korea is known worldwide for K-pop, for our drama and our culture that captivate millions. But there is another Korea, one still divided and still living in the shadow of a conflict. North Korea, known not for music or culture, but for nuclear weapons and isolation. For over 70 years, Korea has been divided nation. South Korea cannot visit their families in the north, and North Koreans, even if they live a few kilometers away, cannot embrace their friends, their siblings, or even their parents in the south. 70 years ago, Korea changed forever. Kim Il-sung, with the support from the Soviet Union, launched a full-scale invasion of South Korea. Almost the entire peninsula, except a small corner near Busan, fell under his control. What is his goal? To conquer all Korea. But then something miraculous happened. 16 nations stood up. 16 nations said no to tyranny, no to aggression. They sent their sons and daughters to a foreign land, Korea, to fight for freedom. And 5 more countries joined by sending medical teams and humanitarian aid. Among those who stood up with us was none other than Indonesia. Though Indonesia did not send troops, it gave from its heart. Through the Indonesian Red Cross and Red Crescent, it provided medicine, food, and compassion. At a time when Korea was utterly broken, Indonesia stepped forward as one of the few Asian nations to offer humanitarian assistance. Let me show you something. This is a photograph of Mokhtar Lubis. Have you recognized him? An Indonesian war correspondent back then. He traveled a long, difficult journey, Jakarta, Balikpapan, Manila, Tokyo, and finally to war-torn Busan, Korea in 1950. He traveled through Busan, Miryang, Daegu, Daejeon, Gimpo, Incheon, Seoul. Through his eyes, the world saw the tragedy, the shattered cities, the grieving families, and helplessness caused by ideology and war. But he didn't. He did not witness history. He became part of it. In 1951, he returned back home and published the book, Hatatan Korea, a powerful record of what he saw and what he felt. That record remains a symbol of sympathy and humanities. Let me say this clearly. You, all Indonesian, are already part of Korea's history. You have shaped Korea's destiny. And our journey does not end there. Many of you already know and love Coach Shin Tae-yong, right? This man who captured the heart of Indonesia through football. I'm proud to call him my friend, and I promise when I next visit Indonesia, I will invite him to join us to be here with you. Let me share a glimpse of this also Shin Tae-yong. Let me share a glimpse of the soul of Korea. Our ancestors had a vision, a dream, to build a nation that exists for the benefit of all humanity. We call it Hongik-ingan. So it sounds like Indonesian bahasa, right? Insan, ingan. Roughly translated, it means to live and work for the benefit of all humankind. This dream flows through the veins of Korean people, despite being invaded over 960 times throughout our 5,000-year history. Korea has never invaded another country. You know why? Because our DNA does not tell us to conquer, it tells us to serve. That is why the Korean dream is not just about unification, it is about building a new nation, a nation that serves the world. And when I visit Indonesia, I saw a vision just as powerful, a vision rooted in Pancasila. Let me reflect on this. One, believe in one and only God. How profound. A declaration that we as humans are connected to the divine. Number two, just and civilized humanities. What a call to action. We must treat each other as reflection of God's image. And three, the unity of Indonesia. Together, your dream as a one people, one nation, one purpose. And number four, democracy guided by wisdom and deliberation. This is not just politics. This is a sacred. It calls for decisions made with God's wisdom. And then number five, social justice for all Indonesians. When these ideas become action, justice blossoms. Everyone, Pancasila is not just an Indonesian treasure. It is a gift to the world. And so I ask you, please unmute. I will ask you, will you be the champions of these principles?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Of course.
definitely.
Yes.
Will you bring Panchashila's light to others?
Yes. Yes.
I only hear few voices. Will you bring Panchashila's light to others?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. In August 15, 2025, 2 months later, we plan to march towards the DMZ with 10 million voices united. 10 million people declaring the peace and reunification. Not through force, but through love, through vision and commitment. Many in Korea have already pledged to become owners of this Korean dream, united under the vision of we are all one family under God. And now I'm asking you once again, and you Indonesian youth, you have a crucial role in this journey. Will you stand with Korean people?
Yes.
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 Will you inspire Korean people with your Panchasila?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course,
Yes.
yes. Yes, we can. Yes.
Great, great. Today,
Yep. Yep.
we will
Yes.
hear from three extraordinary speakers. Hyun-seung Lee, this is not just a human being. This is so powerful. Who was born and lived in North Korea, and now he is leading great initiative to liberate Korean people's lives. He's a leading program strength for North Korea initiative. And we have General Gede Sumertha. This is one of the person I really admire. He's so powerful general, and he's also giving a lecture in the Indonesia defense universities to inspire Indonesian people. And also today we have Namsik, the director of youth program Action for Korea United USA. Action for Korea United is more than 1,000 NGOs who support unification of North and South Korea. And then he is the champion and leading force of this huge initiative together with the young people in the US. I ask you, listen closely, and at the end, I hope you walk away not just inspired, but committed. But committed as a global citizen of peace with a renewed courage and dedications. Thank you very much. terima kasih. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much, Ingira, for your inspiring words and warm welcome. We appreciate your insights and your commitment to promoting peace and understanding in our community. Your presence here today adds great value to our event, and we are grateful for your support. Thank you once again. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator for today's discussions, Nur Khalifah, as part of Global Peace Leadership Corps Indonesia. She is a pioneer peace builder from Global Peace Leadership Corps, one of GPF Indonesia's program. Nur Khalifah or Olive is a peace activist from Indonesia who has been actively involved for over 8 years in promoting peace, youth and women empowerment, tolerance, and minority rights advocacy. She is strongly committed to advancing the Youth Peace and Security or YPS and Women Peace and Security or WPS agendas through various initiatives at local, national, regional, and global levels. Olive will facilitate our sessions, guiding the discussions and engaging with our speakers and participants. Please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome to Nur Khalifa, as she takes over as our moderator for the remainder of the event. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Maria, for being our wonderful master of ceremony. And thank you for your warm welcome. So hello, everyone. Good morning. And I'm so thrilled to have you today here. My name is Nur Khalifa, or you can call me Olive. And for the next hours, I will guide you guys through this session as your moderator. Today is such a good day. We can gather and learn more about peace, Korean reunification, and what can we contribute as the youth, especially. And our discussion will be divided in 3 sessions with 3 different speakers from different backgrounds. We are so honored to have our outstanding speakers with us. Please welcome on board Mr. Namsik, Mr. Hyun-seung Lee, and General Gede Sumertha. So without further ado, let's get started and learn together along the way. And don't worry, guys, we will have the chance to ask questions in the Q&A session after all the presentation from our wonderful speakers. And for the first session, we will have Mr. Namsik. But before that, I think it's really important for us to know more who is Mr. Namsik. So, Mr. Namsik is the director of youth program at Alliance for Korea United USA, where he leads effort to engage young leaders in shaping a free and unified Korea. As the lead organizer of Korean Dream Campus Campaign, he has brought North Korean Escapees, an expert to the U.S. University to spark dialogue on human rights and reunification Korean Peninsula. A proud Korean American and UCLA graduate, Mr. Namsik also learned and studied about international development and economy. And he also led the Liberty in North Korea or Short Link chapter on campus. Mr. Namsik will speak about the topic of North Korea future and dialogue toward peace in the Korean Peninsula. In his presentation, he will tell us about reflection on Korean reunification through pop culture, or we know that as K-pop and Korean drama. Also, he will discuss how youth can contribute to peace in the Korean Peninsula. Please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome to Mr. Namsik as he shares his insight with us today. Hello, Mr. Namsik. It's a pleasure to have you today. Time is
Hello,
yours.
wow. Yes, thank you so much for that warm introduction. Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with. We have nearly 400 students and young people from Indonesia here. It is really exciting. It's truly an honor to be here to share a message that connects really our shared hope for peace and unity in Asia and the world. I did have a presentation prepared if the team can put that up on the screen. Okay. Yes, so today I'll be speaking on the Korean Dream, which is a call for unity and global peace. Next slide, please. So actually this year, 2025, marks the 80th anniversary of Korean Liberation Day, as our regional representative, Mr. Ingo Ra, had alluded to. And interestingly, there are historic parallels between Korea and Indonesia. On August 15th, 1945, Korea was liberated from 35 years of Japanese colonial rule. And just 2 days later, on August 17th, Indonesia had declared its independence from Dutch rule. So these two historic moments really reflect a shared spirit, a longing for freedom, self-determination, and the birth of new nations that guided by the hopes and will of their people. Next slide, please. While Indonesia was able to move forward and fulfill its dream of independence and nationhood, unfortunately, Korea was not able to. Only 3 years after liberation, the Korean Peninsula was divided by Cold War powers along the 38th parallel, separating the people and nation into North and South. And for nearly 80 years, that division has endured. The consequences of this division have been heartbreaking and far-reaching. Millions of families were torn apart, their hopes of reuniting fading as time goes on. In addition, today, 25 million people in the North live under one of the most repressive regimes in the world, a place where basic human freedoms are denied, entire families are sent to labor camps, and children are raised to worship the ruling Kim dynasty. And beyond its borders, North Korea presents a serious global security threat. Its growing arsenal of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles can now reach not only the United States, but also countries throughout Southeast Asia, including Indonesia. So you may ask, why should the Korean Peninsula matter to a country like Indonesia? Why are we talking about the Korean Peninsula here this morning? And that's because global security is deeply interconnected. North Korea's nuclear program heightens the risk of conflict in the Asia Pacific, which is a region that is vital to global trade and stability. And so, really, what happens on the Korean Peninsula affects all of us here. It's not just simply a Korean issue, it is truly a global issue. And so usually when people think about Korean unification, many assume that it should simply mean that South Korea should absorb the North. But I believe this view is very misguided. Yes, definitely a unified Korea cannot and must not be ruled by the Kim regime. But simply adopting South Korea's current model is also not the answer as well. In the North, we see that cracks are forming in the regime's control. A new generation called the Jangmadang generation has grown up in the black markets that emerged after the collapse of the state economy in the 1990s during the arduous march, the famine. And these young people have been exposed to South Korean dramas, pop culture, and smuggled information, and they are now beginning to question the regime. And so, as we have seen with Kim Jong un's recent actions, whether it be tightening border security, abandoning unification, rewriting the constitution to label South Korea as the main enemy, this reveals not strength, but fear. And so, truly, the people in the North are starting to wake up, and this creates a window of opportunity. In terms of South Korea had risen from the ashes of the Korean War in the 1950s. At that time, actually, South Korea was one of the poorest nations in the world, even poorer than North Korea. But through decades of hard work and resilience, South Korea achieved what's often called the miracle on the Han. Today, it's home to global brands like Hyundai, Samsung, as well as a big cultural wave, K-dramas, K-pop, that has really captured the hearts of so many around the world, including many in Indonesia. So really, South Korea has become a symbol of modern success. Yet, this success has come with deep challenges. South Korea now has the lowest birth rate in the world. The young people are choosing not to have children, and this has a lot of implications for the future of South Korean society. What does the future look like now that people are not having children? And more young people are feeling crushed by the social pressure, unemployment, mental health struggles. On top of this, political polarization has really reached extreme levels. As we have seen recently, the South Korean president was impeached. The divide between left and right is sharper than ever, raising questions really about the sustainability of this current system. So with these current trends and circumstances on the Korean Peninsula, they really point to a unique opportunity to not replicate the South or preserve the North, but to build a new nation based on a higher vision that can solve all these issues rooted in the division of the Korean Peninsula, which is why today I want to share with you a vision that can inspire both the Korean people and the global community. It is called the Korean Dream, which is a vision to restore the Korean people's shared identity and fulfill their long-held aspiration to live as one free, unified nation. The Korean Dream was coined by Dr. Hyun-seung Preston Moon, who is the chairman of the Global Peace Foundation and author of the award-winning book Korean Dream, which I highly encourage all of you here to read. At the heart of this vision lies Korea's founding ideal, as Mr. Ingil-ra had pointed to, known as 홍익인간, which means to broadly benefit all humanity. This high-minded spiritual ideal has guided the Korean people for over 5,000 years. It has shaped Korea's unique identity and moral purpose as a nation, not just to serve itself, but to be a force for good in the world. And throughout history, especially during times of crisis, the Korean people have drawn strength and unity from this ideal. And one powerful example is the 1919 Korean independence movement. The Korean people under Japanese colonial rule rose up in a massive non-violent demonstration known as the March First movement. And if you read the Korean Declaration of Independence from that time, you cannot find any sentiment of anger or revenge. Instead, it expresses a sincere desire for Korea to be a nation that contributes to peace and prosperity in the region, even extending a hand to work together with their own enemies, the Japanese. This remarkable spirit of nonviolence, moral clarity, would go on to inspire other historic movements around the world during the 20th century, including Mahatma Gandhi's movement for Indian independence, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s struggle for civil rights in the United States. And so today I want to really emphasize that the Korean Dream is not just merely a political objective. It is truly about healing a divided family, ending the suffering of millions living under oppression, and creating a new nation that honors God-given dignity, freedom, and human rights of all its people. And so if the two Koreas, after decades of division and pain, can finally come together, that nation would not only transform the lives of the Korean people, but it would stand as a global symbol of hope, resilience, and peace, showing the world that even the most painful divisions can be overcome by a shared vision, a higher purpose. And actually, Indonesia understands this vision very deeply. Your nation, Indonesia, was founded on Pancasila, the 5 principles rooted in the belief in God, humanitarianism, national unity, democracy, and social justice. And actually, these values closely align with 홍익인간. Like Korea as well, Indonesia had emerged from colonialism and built a resilient and vibrant democracy. And because Indonesia maintains diplomatic relations with both North and South Korea, it can actually play a unique role as a bridge and advocate for peace and unification. Indonesia's legacy of non-alignment and commitment to peaceful diplomacy also give it moral authority on the global stage. As the world's largest Muslim majority democracy and a key leader in ASEAN, Indonesia can actually play a vital role by promoting dialogue, facilitating educational exchange, and really amplifying the voices of North Korean escapees, like what we're doing here in today's webinar. And so you, as the youth of Indonesia, can really be at the forefront of this movement as ambassadors for peace, freedom, and unity on the Korean Peninsula and beyond. And so up until now, actually many efforts have been made to tackle unification, and it's been largely led by the government level. But as history has shown, top-down approaches alone are not enough. In order for real lasting change to occur, it must be driven by the people. And so the vision of the Korean Dream must be a people-led movement, which is supported by the international community, which is why back in 2012, Action for Korea United, AKU, was founded as a grassroots coalition uniting the citizens across all sectors of South Korean society to pursue the dream of a free and unified Korea. And since its founding, AKU has grown to become South Korea's largest civil society movement for unification, bringing together over 1,000 member organizations. And to expand this momentum globally, we had recently launched the Alliance for Korea United here in the US, AKU USA, to build public awareness and support in the US, which is South Korea's closest ally and a global champion for freedom and human rights. And so, in terms of the work that we've done, it spans education, advocacy, and culture, all rooted in the vision of the Korean dream. We co-sponsored the International Forum on One Korea, bringing together experts, scholars, North Korean escapees, and civil society leaders to discuss actionable pathways toward unification. We organized lectures, defector panels, cultural exchange, youth leadership programs, really trying to empower the next generation to take ownership over this movement. We also support the One Korea Global Campaign, which is a cultural movement that harnesses the power of music, media, and the arts to inspire global solidarity for peaceful reunification, including 1K concerts and the Korean Dream Song Campaign. This year in 2025, we launched the Korean Dream Campus Campaign here in America, which is an initiative to mobilize student leaders across major universities in the US to raise awareness about the realities in North Korea and to advocate for a free and unified Korea. So over the past several months, we've been very busy hosting both virtual and in-person events at some of the most prominent universities here in America. These events had featured powerful testimonies from North Korean escapees like Hyun-seung, who you'll be hearing from today, as well as insights from respected policy experts. And so their stories have really deeply moved students and sparked important conversation about how to achieve unification and what are the global implications of the Korean Peninsula's future. And so I cannot stress this more, I cannot stress this enough. The young people we here on this call today, young people have always been at the heart of meaningful change throughout history, whether it be civil rights movements or the struggles for independence. It has been the students, the youth who had stood at the forefront, challenging the status quo and reshaping the future. And today, we are calling on youth all around the world to stand with us, to raise your voices, take action, and help tear down the barrier that still divides the Korean Peninsula at the 38th parallel. A unified Korea would truly mark the beginning of a new civilization, ending the tyranny and oppression in the North, eliminating the major threat to global peace and security, bringing healing to families who have been torn apart for generations. But most importantly, it would empower the Korean people's potential to fulfill their founding ideal, 홍익인간, to live for the greater good of all humanity as one family under God. And so the last thing that I want to wrap up with is I want to share one easy but impactful way that all of you here in this webinar can be part of this movement. And that is by joining the Korean Dream 10 million signature campaign, which is a global effort to gather 10 million signatures by this August 2025 in honor of Korea's 80th liberation. Your signature is more than just a name, but it's really a declaration that each and every one of you stand for peace, freedom, and a free and unified Korea. And so we can all do it together very quickly, actually. Right now, I would like to ask everyone here on this webinar, take out your smartphones and scan the QR code on the screen. It only takes about 1 minute. All you have to do is once you scan the QR code, you enter your name, your email, and country. You click submit. And just like that, you are part of this historic global movement. And so today, I invite all of you to join us, be part of this movement. Please sign the signature campaign, raise your voice, share this vision, organize events at your campuses, educate your peers. Let us truly all stand together, Indonesia and Korea, students and youth united to fulfill the unfinished dream of 1945 and create a brighter future for all. And so let us realize the Korean dream. Let us create a world of peace, prosperity, and freedom. Let us become one family under God. That's all from me today. Thank you so much for listening and looking forward to hear the other speakers today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Namsik. I know you are struggling with the different time here and in the United States right now. And thank you so much for the wonderful and insightful presentation. Your word on the importance of Korean reunification are truly inspiring. And don't worry, everyone, you will have the time to join the campaign at the last of today agenda, today's seminar. And we are so appreciate with your commitment, especially for the youth, to promoting peace. And we look forward to applying these ideas to support Korean reunification. And thank you once again for sharing this knowledge with us. And now we move on to our wonderful second speaker for today, Mr. Hyun-seung Lee. He is a former North Korea Army Special Force and North Korean escapee. Mr. Hyun-seung Lee is a North Korean escapee and human rights advocate with a background in international business and military operation. Before escaping in 2014, he held key roles in North Korea's trade and armed force, and now he is based in the United States. He advises policymakers and has served with the Global Peace Foundation and the Committee for Human Rights in North Korea. A frequent media contributor, also Mr. Hyun-seung Lee holds degrees from Dongbei University and Columbia University. Today, Mr. Hyun-seung Lee will give us an explanation about how North Korean escapees pursue a better life. So let's pay attention and give him a warm welcome. Time is yours, Mr. Hyun-seung Lee. Hello, Mr. Hyun-seung Lee.
Yeah, thank you for your kind introduction. I'm so impressed by Indonesian people's passion about North Korea and the Korean Peninsula, especially your dedication to Korean unification is truly, truly inspiring and impressive. Yep, as you introduced earlier, I'm Hyun-seung Lee. I am from North Korea, a country where the government controls every part of your life. What you study, what you wear, and where you live, even what you're allowed to believe. The regime's control permeates every aspect of life, leaving little room for personal freedom and individuality. So maybe I can control my slides. So allow me share my slides. All right. Okay. All right. Just give me a second. How can I make a full screen? No. Oh, sorry. I chose the wrong one. So, I'm here to share my story to help you see stark contrast between your lives and those of North Koreans. I hope you will walk away a deeper curiosity about North Korea, a nation that shares the same ethnic roots as the vibrant South Korea of K-pop and K-dramas, yet exists a completely different reality. So my goal is to spark your interest in the lives of my people. I was born into a family that had it better than most. My father was high-ranking official who worked overseas for the regime, which gave us a little better, comfortable life than many North Koreans could dream of. However, living a controlled life was not much different from that many ordinary citizens. From age of 5, as you can see the picture, I was taught both the portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il every morning in kindergarten. School wasn't about the learning freedom or human rights. Instead, we were fed propaganda about the Kim family's godlike status. We were told South Korea was our enemy and America was pure evil. That was our education. Even when we study English or subjects, every lesson began with the pledges of loyalty to the Kim family. Their quotes and directives filled our textbooks, and we were expected to treat them as life's ultimate truths guiding our studies and our daily lives. School wasn't just about academics, it was about the control. Every almost every North Korean high school student is forced to spend 2 months each spring and fall doing manual labor, usually on farms. We had to bring our own food and supplies and working even 10 hours per day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., weeding fields or harvesting crops. We lived with farmers together, sleeping in their homes with no choices but to obey. It did not stop there. Students were dragged into all sorts of side tasks for the regime, organization, or schools, cleaning status of Kim family, performing in national events, or participating mass gymnastics for months on end. We missed the school, get no pay, no rewards, and no say in the matter. Because of this constant mobilization, some university students take nearly 7 years to graduate. In North Korea, you are considered an adult at 17 when you finish high school, and I choose to enlist in the military instead of going to college. I wasn't expect a comfortable life there, but the conditions were beyond awful. Our food was terrible. Salted radishes and cabbages that tasted like, despair, and rice so poorly processed it was hard to digest. Meat, maybe a sip of broth once, twice a year during holidays. Eggs on my birthday, if you're lucky. So as you can see in the picture, Kim Jong-il visiting troops, and there is no a piece of meat in that picture. Even Kim Jong-il visited, they cannot display. They are not able to display a meat. So don't believe the North Korean TV propaganda about the invincible soldiers. Those images of elite units training for show, that's not the reality for North Korea. Okay, this one. I later served one of these special units, but regular soldiers spend more times farming or collecting firewood than training. Instead of the tactical drills, we studied party policies and Kim family ideology. Those 3+ years in the military showed me the real North Korea. And so what blew my mind was a friend from countryside who said that he was happy with these overall conditions in the military because he can eat the 3 meals per day. Back home, he only got two. And another surprising fact was we didn't even have our own underwear. We washed and shared them randomly as a new the base camp. There was no shower facility, so we bathed and did laundry in the stream. So the water gave infection and sore on my legs, so leaving me unable to work for 2 weeks, and I still carry those scars. At 20 years old, after my military service, I got the rare chance to study in China, thanks to my father's overseas business connections. But the regime doesn't allow whole my family to stay in China. So my 14-year-old, my sister at the time, had to stay behind North Korea as a hostage to keep us in line. Later, by special order from the leadership, we could study both in China, but most North Koreans sent abroad have to leave a child behind and share their loyalty. I was taught speaking foreign languages while I was in North Korea, but not to connect people like you. The regime drilled me into everything I saw, I read, and I learned about abroad was anti-socialist propaganda, and the propaganda will brainwash me, so I should not believe anything I see in foreign country. And That was the reality I witnessed in China. I mean, different reality I witnessed in China. So using the internet was against the North Korean government rule, but my curiosity was stronger than regime's threats. The first time I went online, I was speechless. The idea of freely sharing information was mind-blowing. You might not know this, but North Korea is the only country in the world that bans the internet entirely. No YouTube, no TikTok, no Google, nothing. But uh, for your reference, but the only Kim family members can access the internet. The foreigners could limited internet, but for North Koreans, it's a dream. By the way, those YouTube videos of North Korean schoolgirls or college, girl talking about their life in North Korea, it's pure propaganda. The regime blocks citizens from the internet and runs dozens of websites to push its narrative. Those videos carefully staged to paint a false picture of North Korea. Living in China felt like stepping into a new universe, and I realized so much about what I've learned have been taught in North Korea was a lie, and it wasn't people's paradise, but the dictator's playground. Still, uh, I was hoping that economic reforms could change things, but that's why I studied economics and worked for North Korean regime and the trade business and then dream of better future of my country. But the dreams of were just dreams. When Kim Jong-un purged his uncle and hundreds of others and a hope for reform, better lives, or even the silver of freedom was crushed. The purges were meatless, and friends of my families and countless innocent people disappeared with the trace. My father's friends were executed by anti-craft machine guns, and a college friend I studied with him in China was sent to a political prison camp after his grandfather's execution. My sister's roommate was dragged from the class by North Korean security agent in China straight to camp. The brutality was everywhere, and no one was safe at the time. Seeing so much loss, I fear, not just me, entire my family, felt rage and fear, and we could not contain. My family started questioning the so-called elite life we had in North Korea. At the point, my father turned down turned down government proposal to make him as a ministerial role in North Korea, but to choose escape. And we move carefully and avoiding any suspicion from North Korean authorities and Chinese police. And finally, we were able to manage to escape in October 2014. But it did not end there. The regime banished the remaining relatives to rural areas, and then when they learned we were in South Korea, they threatened. They put my grandmother, uncle, and aunt in North Korean TV show to threaten my family. We got word from assassination attempt might be against my family by South Korean government. So we realized that South Korea was not safe enough to protect us. So we had to make another choice to leave South Korea to come to United States. So we finally came to US in March 2016. And living in the US, I've come to see even more clearly how brainwashed I was in North Korea, how I was robbed of freedom and human rights. So many North Koreans, like I once was, don't even realize their rights are being crushed. So that's because for over 7 decades, They have been fed nothing but the regime's lies and propaganda, with no access to outside information. Religion, which shapes so much people's lives, is completely erased in North Korea. The regime has eliminated freedom of belief. It's hard to believe, but in the early 1900, North Korea was called the Jerusalem of the East, a hub of the religious freedom in Asia. After 7 decades of Kim regime's crackdown, only 2 churches remain for propaganda. Those people who attended the church are the members of North Korean Workers' Party. They mobilized to show the foreigners the regime provide the freedom of religion, but no one can really believe in their belief system. And the regime blocks information and then bans feeds people propaganda, seals the border to prevent escape, and turns the entire country into a giant slave camp. North Koreans do not know any of other life, so they cannot feel the much difference. But what about you? Could you live as a North Korean, no TikTok, no YouTube, no crash landing on you, and no Blackpink? So I don't think anyone in the world who witnessed or experienced the freedom can stand with that. And in North Korea, getting caught watching a K-drama means a prison camp or forced labor. Even like as you can see the picture, even young students, 16 years old girl and 15 years old boys are arrested by watching by watching the South Korean dramas. The more I learn about North Korea, the angrier I get that this prison country has existed for over 70 years. That's why I need your voices, your genuine help. For the sake of our oppressed North Korean brothers and sisters, raise your voice for free, democratic, and unified Korea. So peace isn't just the absence of war. It's the ending the suffering of North Koreans living under worse oppression than any battlefield. The Korean dream, a unified Korea, is the only path to heal this divided peninsula and bring true peace. I hope you will join me in cheering for this dream. And I wrap up here. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hyun-seung Lee. I'm sorry to always remind you about the time because we really have a tight time. But it's really wonderful, the insight, the remark what you share with us about the story that remind us of the enduring strength of the human spirit is really important, and keeping the desire of freedom, dignity, and hope to keep us move forward and to keep us having the dream of a better life, of a better tomorrow. Aside of that, your presentation about the situation of North Korea helped us to understand more what is happening there. And we now understand why supporting Korean reunification is really important and it's really affected the society aspect. And to further explore this topic, everyone, please allow me to introduce our next speaker. He is General Gede Sumertha, sort of Pak Gede, and he is a lecturer in Indonesia Defense University. Pak Gede will tell us about the Indonesian perspective about Korean reunification and what can we do to support us Indonesian. But I think it's really important for us to know more about Pak Gede. So Pak Gede is former Indonesian Army who held the rank of Major General. He also concluded his distinguished military career as the Dean of the Faculty Defense Strategy at the Indonesian Defense University, or we know as Universitas Pertahanan Indonesia. Throughout his service, he actively contributed to academic and strategic discourse, also authoring several publications on peacekeeping operations. And following his retirement, he continues to serve in academia as lecturer in peace and conflict resolution at the Faculty of National Security, Universitas of Defense of Indonesia under the Ministry of Defense of Republic Indonesia. I think without further ado, let's focus our mind and give him a warm
Pergi ke
welcome.
toilet, Mas.
Gede. Yeah,
Thank you very much, my beautiful moderator.
thank you.
So sorry I use my not with the computer. I just one event that I couldn't leave it. I'm so sorry, but actually I'm very happy today with all the participants who are join this seminar. Especially I see regard for my college that Miss Ingra and Miss Namsik, and also the Mr. Lee that already presented all the material, especially the story and also life in the North Korea. Allow me that to say hello for all. Annyeonghaseyo, Sonan Igede Irago Emida, Manaso Panggap Semida, Chua Semida. I can speak a little bit Korean. I was study in Yokunchumbu Hakio and also Kupang Tehakio. Let me give the my PowerPoint, please. Yeah. Firstly, I would like to say my disclaimer. What I will present today, this is not for myself especially, not for my university organization, or of course also the state. This is my point of view, especially as the lecturer. Try to find what is the hope for the reunification, especially our college, North Korea and South Korea. Next. I would like to try to stick to the term of reference that I got. The introduction, family spirit loss, unity and diversity, Indonesia support advocacy, the reunification in Korean Peninsula. Okay, next. So the point is, why should there be conflict if the peace can be created? So sometimes the situation, if we back the history, they have the classic war, and then after that the World War I, World War II, and then nowadays will be modern era of the war. Same pattern of the war is almost the same. They will be create what we call the peace negative or peace positive. So if you look our college friend in the North Korea and South Korea, this is the negative peace. We try to find the positive piece that our college before, how to make unity between North and the South Korea. So the two Koreas become of the one high geopolitics. So that Namsik say also that very detailed the historical also our college INRA. What is the kind the unity, because they have what we call the unity that related to our four Pancasila, and also same way that got from the North Korea, South Korea. So we are familiar with the term reunification. So the two-state entitled Korean Peninsula. So some many of the journal, many of the seminar also as discussed before. So highly emphasize that if South Korea and North Korea unity, this is very big power, not only for the technology, but also the human resources is high one. So therefore, in 2004, they recorded a number of the 6 method of the two countries. So if you look the leadership, One side in North Korea, the leadership is, so the pattern is like the algorithmic state, but leadership in the South is the part of the democracy state. So they will change every 5 years, but another one is they very stick to the what is called the ideology, dogma, and so on. That what our colleagues say, Mr. Lee, how to hard life in the North Korea. So the reunification doctrine focus on the freedom of prosperity. Of course, nowadays they try to not try for change for the armed forces, the power of the army, but use the prosperity, the focus, freedom, prosperity to more issues. So why we connected with the second track diplomacy, or maybe to join our colleagues with all the NGO and GVF and AQ, so join together, and also young generation to try to support not only in the domestic but also regional and international way. Next. So Indonesia has long history South in North Korea. So that our colleague also Namsik say, we just 2 days difference independent. So very tiny. So, but the history almost the same, that Sukarno declared and then sent some of the aid for the peacekeeping operation at the time, and used some like my colleague Indra say that Corporal Rio they extended 1+1. So Indonesia has contributed by taking collaborative approach to the countries in the Southeast Asia. And Mr. Prabowo, our president, showed the political will for Indonesia contributing toward geopolitics, including the Korean Peninsula affair. So this is very important that the new president, not only for our side, but also the new president for the US, Donald Trump, so emphasize the same idea to support the peace and prosperity in the North and South Korea. But once again, I will be declare the last how the situation nowadays update, for example, to make the more better the situation. Next. Point to the family separation and loss. Yeah, we have also some experience, lesson learned from our experience in Timor-Leste, East Timor. This, when 1975, they have integration between Indonesia and East Timor. Now this is Timor-Leste. So after they fought for the freedom of choice, and then the family was separated also. Some families stay in Indonesia and some families stay in the Timor-Leste. So it's very hard life that between in the border area. So why that time also nowadays in the modern era situation, our president that time, then he was the Minister of Defense, nowadays a president, Mr. Prabowo, to build the university in the border. So to try to find more better life in the near the border. So in Belu, the position this try to encourage the young people and also to find the more better life in the border area between the separate family, this one, because the very suffer life this one, and they some of the family the reunion almost the same with our colleagues in South and North Korea. They have very difficult separate the family this one. So you're feeling trust that South Korea and Moonless family in almost 7 years. So some of the journal or also the story that how to suffer, that also Mr. Lee say the life is very high difference. Yeah, but actually most of the people also try to the last story we have the unity one Korean this one, so try to persuade the angel how to make the more better life in this one. So the North Korea way just get a very problem from the us. But this also when look the North Korea from the our side, village, it is a desire for the reunification. So I was the 3 times in the DNZ because that time I was have friend Colonel Moon. So look inside far away in the North Korea DNZ is very strict. Yeah, the position people is very tough, and but another side in South Korea is more relaxed. It's not for tough this one. So this means the situation between the border area who employed this one is very tough. This one. Next. So one is unity and diversity. So previous our colleague, so Mr. Ingwila has also mentioned the Pancasila as the Hongik Ingan. This is philosophy basic the listen. So long my answer also founding father tried to make how to make the unity between many tribes, many language, and then try to unity the one. We speak in Bahasa Indonesia. We are the nation, one nation, and we are proposed, of course, this, we live in the other nation. So this is almost the same. Therefore, the situation of the Hongik Ingan philosophy, this also try to make the layer basic. It's called the what is called philosophy of life. This one, and also the same. So why in the banner in the Garuda Pancasila, the banner down, they call the Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. It's mean unity and diversity. But they have another word, Tanhana Dharma Mangrawa. It's this the Sanskrit word. There is no one choice for the what is called the right. Yeah, only one the right one. Okay. But this conflicts between South and North Korea, this growing confrontation is this is the we back the classic war. Always they have alliance. They divided nation willing coalition or nation unwilling coalition. So therefore, if you look the colonies that our also history, we have 2 times, two Japanese and also Dutch who have colonized our in Indonesia, and also same that our colleagues in Korea, they have Japan, they have one. So, but they have the colonies alliance, and U.S., Japan, or China, or Russia. Therefore, if you look the influenced by the big country, is also some of the resistance how to make the policy, the political, to make more better, to give the question. So I will more explain in the last what is our hope in the Clausewitz theory. The problem is how to conquer the influence by family model under the circumstance the 21st year. So that our colleague say in Mr. Lee also, they have many NGO and many seminar try to not only in domestic, but also in abroad. Also, diaspora try to unity together to support the unification. Next. Okay, this is the hopes, the unification. I try to back to the strategic thought and strategic trends. This is old theory, but actually this still also update in a modern way. So in the classic theory, they have peoples, government, and armed forces. So why influence the people is very, very strong and very weak also. That our colleagues presenters said too before. The people is very, very fragile. So why, if the democracy state, the loop is the people. Therefore, if in the propaganda counter dance one, they not try to penetrate the government. They not try to penetrate the armed forces. It's too strong. But they try to penetrate for the people. It's very easy. Yeah. So why it's very right. I do indeed agree that K-pop, K-drama, K-question is part of the how the changing our colleagues in South Korea to change the way how to make this one. So in the strategic thought and strategic trend, they have formula, the innovation piece plus war adoption is much more better, more bigger than our enemy. So I mean, if they kind in the innovation pitch, because there is no war, they try to make the innovation. For example, if you look the history war, the Bonaparte, Napoleon Bonaparte, they used the horse. But in the modern, in the peace time, the horse used playing hockey and so on. So they changed the situation. So not in the classic way. And also the modern adaptation. They use not heli or the chopper, but they use now this the unarmed. Yeah, they try to without the people. They try to make to searching the area to for the population to make searching more better. So this innovation is changing this one. So let's say back to this grand strategy. If you look between North and South, there is a little bit changing, difficult to try to make same idea because the national interest and national purpose also different. Therefore, how to make in the aim of the objective and the purpose of the national interest is try to move closer. So why Hongek England is part of the philosophy, try to make together and so on. So this one in the strategy. So how about the national security armed forces? Of course, national armed forces, they have different also in different in the north. They will be not a rate of the nuclear weapons because this is part of the last resort use of the weapon because this weapon is part of the deterrent. So why the every president of US tried to persuade to make that how to nuclearization, they try to avoid it in the North Korea. But actually, this changing this different way because if they have the mass destruction that will be put away, they didn't have the turn effect one. So this one one. And in the green strategy, they have means, ways, and end. What does it mean? Means. Means is they have element power and instrument power. So in element power, both Korea and North Korea, South and Korea, they have geographically is very close. This advantage is not separated with all the places. So in geography, in element power, it's okay. And then what is called the resources also in the north is very rich in the resources. So when the north and the south were together, this very high technology and the rich resources become together. It's very powerful. And then secondly, how about the R&D? Also in element power R&D, both Korea, North and South is very neatly try to have the same way. But in the government will, it's very important. In the element power, the last government will, is slightly different because in the north, we are strictly to the algorithm state, strict to the ideology, and South Korea, they have what they call democratic. That's loop people, and also the power is the people. So, how about the in instrument power? In the instrument power, they try to make the diplomacy between North and South. So with the soft diplomacy in track 2, or we can multi-track that our colleagues in Global Peace Foundation and also AQ, or also another way, try to together to make the diplomacy to mock Mr. How about the intelligence or information? They try open this, try to share to all the, not only here. So why Dr. Moon also share with the Korean Dream in English, not only for the Korean, so everybody can read it. I do agree this one. So, and the last armed forces, the armed forces very strong. That we North and South way together. So, but the system is maybe will be doctrine will be changing. Yeah, one is more power with nuclear effects, and another one is more the modernized major equipment is one. And the lastly, what's about the economy? So the economy, not only for North and the South, should be have balance. But another way, the fact the South Korea is more higher, wider, and more richer because they have maybe the organization of the business is very different. They have chaebol system, and the North is very closely. They not open, they close. So they just try to how to persuade to make these thinkings. And my point of the conclusion is the hope of our support in advocacy that how to changing how to make the same idea in the national objective and national interest. If the national objective this can be more deeply closely and supported by the our friend NGO and the people's look, I think the reunification will be not only dream but a fact. They will be appear become one unity. The Korean Peninsula is maybe also the more power in the Asia, East Asia as well. Thank you very much. I back to you, the moderator. It is very short. Normally I have 2 hours to speak, but this is a 15 minutes. It's okay. But more further we can discuss each other. Thank you very much once again. Kamsahamnida.
Kamsahamnida, Pak Gede. Such wonderful, inspiring work that you share with us. And I'm so sorry for always reminding you about the time that, yeah, it's really so short that we have the discussion with you. But I really take a note about how we are as Indonesians stand in solidarity with Korean people and remain committed to support the dream of a unified Korea. And it's really important to create innovation movement on contributing peace. So everyone, as I mentioned before, we will continue our discussion through the Q&A session. So if you're still curious about something, about the thing that our wonderful speaker share with us, feel free to raise your hand and or you write down your question in the chat box and I will read that to you. So please raise your hand, everyone. Time is yours. Okay, I see. I think there's someone wanna share their. Okay, wait. Anyone wanna share their question? Can raise your hand, guys, or directly opening your microphone and share your question with us. Okay, there are question from Denny Kusmanto. I think, do you like to share your question with us or opening your mic? Is it okay for you? Yeah, time is yours. Mr. Denny Kusmanto, if you want to open your mic, it's time for you. Oh, okay. So maybe I can read the question from Mr. Denny Kusmanto about our wonderful discussion today. So there are two questions that Mr. Denny Kusmanto would like to share with our wonderful speaker today. So the first question is, are there any kind of technologies that can rule out the obstacle to communicate to people in North Korea? Maybe Mr. Hyun-seung can share the answer about this question. And the second one, if you maybe you have ever heard this question before, if you able to send message for Korean people, what would you like to share it for Mr. Hyun-seung? And I think I also have one question to all the wonderful speaker here. So I want to ask about how can we are as individual or organization, work with organization contributing to and recognizing the dream of Korea. So how can we make contribution and get recognized with our contribution about unified of Korea, whether it as organization or as an individual. Okay, I see there are other questions, but you guys should be wait. We should answer this question first. So I would like to give the floor for our wonderful speaker. Time is yours.
Thanks for your questions, and I think it's a good question. How we communicate people in North Korea, and then especially the technological aspects. Unfortunately, not many people can communicate with the people, our relatives in North Korea, because, as I mentioned during my talk, North Korean government blocked internet, and also they blocked international phone calls. So even like the North Korean diplomats and business people abroad, they cannot directly communicate their relatives and family members in North Korea. So international call is not allowed to call the personal cell phones or the home the phones. So now people are using very limited the technology to access the information from North Korea or people. So they using Chinese cell phones and they get the signal at the border area so that they can communicate the people in China. And then the people in China also communicate the family members in South Korea. So that's another way they can communicate. And then without technology, there's another way you can write a letter, the physical letter, written letter, and then you can deliver through broker who travel North Korea, but it's very risky and it's costly. You have to share like almost the 50% of the amount of money you have to share. So, so far technology haven't reached the level to, infiltrate North Korea. Especially, we are constantly, focusing on the technological side, especially Starlink and Google, but um, the North Korean government's retaliation and the North Korean regime is so good at hacking, and those, the companies are worried about their, benefit on the uh, um, benefit, and also they hacking. As you may aware that the 2014 North Korea hacked the Sony Pictures for that just one movie interview. So the many companies are afraid, do something against North Korean regime. So yeah, but still, like we are looking for the opportunity to, sending more information and to communicate people directly without government censorship. And the second question, I'm gonna say just one sentence that to North Korean people. So please survive, and then you will be, saved by the people who care about you, and then, we still, our gods will save you. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Hyun-seung Lee, for the wonderful answer. So, but the second question, I think I would like to give the floor for Dini Septiana that already raised her hand. Time is yours. I would like for you to give one question for our wonderful speaker. So, because we have like 4 people inquire, the time is yours. So you can unmute your microphone, I think, Miss Dini. Yeah.
Thank you very much, moderator and all speakers. I'm very honored to be part of this discussion. My name is Dini, and I'm from Universitas Darussalam Gontor. It's quite far from East Kalimantan. Well, I would like to ask. Actually, this question will be directed to all speakers, but probably this could be answered particularly by both speakers that are coming from Korea, North and South Korea. My question is about to what extent is the idea of reunification is affected or influenced the younger generations of both countries, since we know that our younger generation could have what we call a gap generations because of the war, and also the idea of reunification might be declared far from maybe their mother or their grandfather, their ancestors. So how to what extent is this idea influenced and affected the younger generation of both nations? Thank you. I think that's my question.
Thank you, Ms. Dini. I think I would like to give the floor to our speakers, but Mr. Namsik or Mr. Hyun-seung Lee to share the answer.
I think Namsik has a better answer for that.
Oh yeah, sure. I can definitely speak from my perspective. First off, great question, Dini. And your point is very right. That kind of generational gap. As a Korean living in America, although I'm speaking more as like, from the position of an observer, I don't live in South Korea currently, but I'm very well aware of the situation where you have a situation in South Korea where the younger generation, right, the Gen Zs, who are very far removed from the issue, because if you look at the polls, the data, most of the people in South Korea who express their support for unification, their longing for unification, is the older generation that still have ties to that time during, dating back to the Korean War, the separation of the country. And so this kind of longing for unification still remains in the older generation. But obviously with the younger people, it's very died down. And so the current situation in South Korea is one where you see young people who either do not have any opinion on unification, or they do not actually support it. One of the major reasons being they think that unification will become an economic burden to the young people in South Korea, since North Korea is, in such a poor, is a very poor country. If reunification happens, the expectation is that the young people in South Korea need to carry that burden, whether it's in increased taxes or all that kind of stuff. But the kind of the point that we really want to get across is that yes, in the short term, there will, let's say that North and South, we come to a situation where unification is viable. There's maybe a change in leadership in the North, and we start to make the steps towards that possibility. Actually, unification in the long term will provide significant economic benefit to the Korean people. The idea that it will be solely on the young people in the South to cover that cost is simply misguided. It does not take into account the foreign direct investment, where a lot of countries would be interested in investing in a potential unified Korea. You have a situation in the North where they have a huge labor pool that is not being utilized. There's a lot of natural resources there in the North that are not being efficiently utilized. And so in terms of the reconstruction of the North Korean economy, that can take place really through foreign direct investment. And the last point I want to just make is this kind of thinking that the North is so poor, it's going to take so many years to have these two countries merge. But if you look at it, in terms of the things that South Korea does not have, is exactly what the North has. As I explained earlier, young people, the people in South Korea right now are not having children, which means that future for the South is very bleak. It's very dark, right? In the North, though, you have a huge pool of young people who have so much potential to be able to, to work, but they lack the capital, the infrastructure that the South has. And so if you marry these two, it will actually, it will lead to a lot of long-term benefits. So that's just a kind of one misconception that I do want to address. But yes, thank you for your question.
Thank you, Mr. Namsik, for answering this question. I hope it's answer what you want to ask for, Ms. Dini Septiana. Yeah, thank you so much for giving the question. So for our next question, it will be delivered by, oh my God, I see there are 5 people that want to ask for our wonderful distinguished guest. I hope you could have the time to that. So, and I'm sorry everyone, because the time is so limited. So I think we will conclude with these 5 people to having the question. So I would like to give the floor for Miss Susilo. Time is yours for the next question. You can unmute your microphone, Mr. Susilo. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for this great opportunity. So thank you so much for all the speakers, especially because we can learn more about these issues currently. So my question is going to Mr. Gede from National Defense University. So before I'm asking about my question, I want to start with the basic information as young global citizens concerned about the peace and unity. And we must examine the evolving dynamics between North and South Korea. So my question is, how can the youth contribute to fostering dialogues and understanding between two Koreans amid their shifting approach to reunification in 2025? And secondly is, in what ways does the current reunification doctrines emphasize on freedom and prosperity align with aspirations of the young generation on the Korean Peninsula? I think it's not only going to Pak Gede, but also maybe Namsik and also Hyun. So thank you so much for this opportunity. So I will deliver to the moderator again.
Thank you, Mr. Susilo, for the question. I think Mr. Namsik, you, Pak Gede, and Mr. Hyun-seung, we can answer this question from Susilo.
Okay, sorry for I'm not subscribed for my video just due to my activity. Thank you very much for question, Susilo. Is very interesting how the young generation involved. This is also the way how to make more closer. The use normally is very close or very effective is by join the culture, like our college and INGRA, the GF Foundation, try encourage the young people, not only in domestic, but also in out of the regional young generation, to knowing what happened in the situation North and South Korea, especially in the North. Peace is part of the one living in our same God, under the God. That what is the Dr. Moon say? Because my experience when I was served in the army, peacekeeping operation in Sudan, Congo, Lebanon, most of the people suffer in the war. So why we try to make a war and then suddenly we suffer? So the young generation is part of the vision in the long way to make more better the life. So I did agree that part of our GQF Indonesia make the short course, make a trainer of the young people to find this one. So this is very difficult to try to move this one. So my point is young generation is very hard power to persuade this one. This is my point of view, Susilo. Thank you very much. Back to the moderator. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Gede. I hope it's answered the question from Mr. Susilo. Yeah, okay. Due to the time limit, I would like for the participants that already raised their hand to directly giving
Sorry,
their
moderator, cut the way. I couldn't continue. Maybe I left this one. Thank you. I left the seminar. Yeah. Thank you very much, moderator. Take away.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gede, for sharing your talk with us. It's such an honor for
Yes,
us.
thank you. I'm so sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. I think we can continue our discussion through the Q&A session because the time limit, I think everyone that raised their hand could share their question first, and then our wonderful speaker will answer it after all the question already delivered. Okay, is it okay for everyone? I would like to give the floor for Mr. Shaifullah Said first, and then Mr. Franz Sinaga, and then Mr. Yurose Muhammad, and the last one is Mr. Kiki Rizky Novi. Time is yours, Mr. Shaifullah Said. Please unmute your microphone.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for the opportunity to ask my question. Let me introduce myself. My name is Syaifullah Said. I'm an international relations student at University of Muhammadiyah East Borneo. My question is, how might the competing national interests and security doctrines of major powers surrounding the Korean Peninsula, obviously, particularly the United United States of America alliance system, and then there's China regional ambition, and the last is Russia strategic opportunism, undermine or maybe reshape the trajectory of Korean unification in the context of shifting global power dynamics. All right, that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, the second question from Mr. Franz Sinaga. Time is yours. Please unmute the microphone.
My voice? Now, yeah, I have a question and give my opinion about the reunification of both Korean, North and South Korea. What do you think about survey both North and South young generation, Korean young generation? Are they agree or disagree with the issue of reunification? And the second one, this is my opinion. We learned about the history of West and East Germany. This is not easy when they unify those two countries, that two kubus or two groups. The communist one and the second one is the democracy. I mean the West allies. Do you think that about this impact of reunification? I mean the scenario, if there will be a fail, what should two governments or two both sides can mitigate the situation? And we learned about in 89 to 90, West and East Germany, when they unified, it's not easy to meet to get a gap, especially economic gap between the East and West. Do you have any scenario for that issue to unify South and North Korea, and how you mitigate it, especially for the advance of Korean young generation in the future? I think. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Franz, for the question. We would like to go to the third question, Mr. Yurase Muhammad. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much for moderator. Let me introduce myself. My name is Yuros Muhammad Rafli Budi Baraki. I have a question for both speaker. The first question is, how have diplomatic relations between South Korea and North Korea been since the end of the Korean War? Second question is, what efforts have South Korea and North Korea made to improve their bilateral relation? Just it, and just a question. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you, Mr. Yurase. And the last one from I hope it's Miss Kiki Rizky Novi. You can share your question about this.
Okay, thank you. I'm Mr. Oh, no, Mr. Okay. Yes. Okay. I will introduce myself. My name is Wisnu Kenta. I'm from Kuala University Banda Aceh. My question for to Mr. Namsik. We know that every country in a country will always have an impact on its people. What are the steps of both North Korea and South Korea in the future to release peace so that people can to continue their future lives? Then, what are the steps to recover the trauma felt by children for the future? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing the question. I think I would like to give the floor for Mr. Namsik Yu and Mr. Hyun-seung Lee to share their opinion and answer regarding the question. Time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Nora. Regarding the question, the Russian and North Korea relationship question. So the North Korean regime, especially the North Korean current leader, uh, I mean, he has been trying to establish good relationship with Putin for a long time. So since he took office in 2012, he wanted to build a strong relationship with Russia, then China. So he had a very intense and strict, the uncomfortable the relationship with China. So he doesn't like the Chinese leader, but he likes Putin. So while I was in there in 2014, we also instructed to develop business with Russia more than China, but in terms of the market and then items we can purchase and also the military engagement, and the China has a huge market at the time. So all the situation is unfavorable to build a relationship with Russia more than China. So Kim Jong-un at the time he gave up. But but now because of the Russian-Ukraine war, Kim Jong-un is in good position to build more good relationship with Russia. So he's supplying troops there. 14,000 North Korean soldiers were sent, and also he sent millions of bullets there and the missiles. So he's building the industry, like the munition industry and the missile development through these connections. So I would say, as long as Kim Jong Un in power, he will continue to do this relationship with Russia. So that's for Kim Jong Un to re-establish his narrative towards South Korea as well. So he wanna supporter of his, the big goal to unify Korea by force. So at the end of the day, I think Kim Jong Un's final goal is to rule, the entire Korean Peninsula by his term. So and then Russia is really crucial to support his dream goal. So now he is trying to keep this, momentum go, and then he may not drag China into this operation, but eventually he seek help from China as well. So now I think the Russia's Ukraine invasion, and then I think that's more now make North Korea better position in the Indo-Pacific uh, the area. And also the second question regarding unification, I understand the only example is German unification, and then you are right. It's not easy. It was not easy, and there was a lots of disadvantages for Western Germany people. They paid a lot of money, and then still Germany is suffering of this debt. So I think, but um, I want to say this: unification is inevitable because North and South are one nation that shares common language, the common history, and then there was lots of benefit of this unifying Korea because now South Korea is a big economic hub, the 10th largest economy in the world. And North Korea, as the professor mentioned earlier, North Korea has large the rare earths and the mineral resources and manpower. So uh, it's a good opportunity for both Korea become a big the economy powerhouse, and not South Korea can develop South Korea with the North Korea's resources as well, and North Korea can benefit from South Korea's technology, economic, and financial support, and also through North Korea, South Korea can eventually connect to the mainland. Now it's South Korea is an island. It's like it's blocked by North Korea to Russia and China. So eventually, if the Korea is united, and then the side of the railroad will be built, and then the lots of the merchants and the products will be delivered to Europe and through Russia and China. And so, so it's more beneficial than people think. So I truly encourage, people, even like in Korea, should re-establish the meaning of the unification. I know it's not easy, and then um, I I I want to say one more thing, that for now, the current North Korean leader, his only goal is sustain his power. So there is not much room to discuss for mutual benefit, mutual development. So what I'm saying, the unification, and also many of us are supporting unification, is the principle of unification, and then the base. But the principle we mentioned is freedom and democracy and market economy. It's now North Korea abandons all three of them. There is no freedom, democracy, and market economy. So unless Kim Jong-un adopt these policies, there is no, mutual discussion points. So I just want to, keep your mind remind of this. Yeah, that should be. I couldn't catch the third question, and then I think the fourth question is for you, Namsik. So I will leave
Sure.
it there. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the great questions. I know we're short on time, so I'll try to answer them quickly. Just one point I did want to add to what Hyun-seung was saying with regard to German reunification. The thing that I want to point out is at that time, after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, it was actually some key leaders in the West, including the president of the U.S. at that time, George H.W. Bush, who had played a very vital role for unification of East and West Germany to happen. At that time, the U.S. president really trying to align the new Germany, right, the United Germans country, really align the vision accordingly to what the U.S. and its European allies had really valued in terms of democracy, freedom, human rights. In the same vein, that kind of support, I believe, is needed for the future of the Korean Peninsula, for the unified Korea. Up until now, the United States policy on the Korean Peninsula has constantly been narrowly focused on simply denuclearization. And as Hyun-seung and as his colleagues have always alluded to, Kim Jong-un will never give up his nuclear weapons. And so, in terms of what the U.S. policy on the Korean Peninsula should really be on, how can we, as the U.S., as a close ally to the ROK, as a champion of human rights and freedom, really support peaceful unification rooted in the Korean Dream vision. So, in terms of the question with regard to diplomatic relations between the North and South since the Korean War, very good question. And this is kind of goes to my point that I was making during my presentation, in terms of the limitations when it comes to government-led efforts alone. And we have seen that since the division of the Korean Peninsula, since the Korean War, relations between North and South is kind of like a consistent pattern. When a conservative administration is in place in South Korea, the main focus is on sanctions, pressure, this kind of a hard-nosed approach towards the North, versus you have a more liberal administration running the country in South Korea. It's all about dialogue. How can we have more dialogue with the North? How can we open our arms? How can we, have just more cooperation? Both approaches have proven to show it does not work. Both approaches the North takes advantage of, and so that is why a third way is needed, a third approach, one that goes beyond simply political ideology. And it's really one that is rooted in a shared vision, the shared aspirations of the Korean people, that both, left and right in the South, and beyond that, the North Koreans and South Koreans can all come together on. and that is the peaceful reunification of the Korean Peninsula rooted in their founding. And so the last question, steps toward unification that is needed. The first thing that needs to be done is, as Hyun-seung had alluded to in his presentation, the people in the north, you know, they do not have an opportunity. Although more and more information is being smuggled into the north, there's still limitations. The ones who, you know, the ones that should be really rising up, taking the charge, are those that live in the free world, starting with the Koreans in the South, which is why, you know, organizations like Action for Korea United was established to serve as that kind of, you know, grassroots, citizen-led coalition that can really coalesce people from all sectors of society to come together based on this shared vision. And then from there, you know, we're having this, you know, webinar in Indonesia, you know, here in the United States, Hyun-seung and I are going, you know, visiting different campuses to share this vision, to share this message to the students. As long as more and more of these efforts are being made globally, setting the groundwork, then I truly believe that, you know, we will be setting the stage for unification to eventually occur, to happen in the way that it really aligns to, you know, the vision of the Korean dream, not a unification where you know, the Kim regime is in power, or not a unification that simply is just about, you know, absorbing, you know, one country, but a unification that is rooted in this shared aspiration, and can become truly an inspiration for the rest of the world. And so, in terms of steps, that would be the first step, is to really just get more informed, to get more educated, you know, hear the stories of North Korean escapees, learn about the situation in North Korea, and then see how we can participate in this civil society, this grassroots movement. You know, all of you in Indonesia can be connected to GPF Indonesia. They're doing a lot of great work. The team there, you know, Isman, Rudy, Tia, please connect with them. Have them come to your campus and organize more small groups, discussions on how, as we as youth, can be part of this global movement. How can we become peace builders to advance change? So yes, that's all that I will say for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hyun-seung Lee and Mr. Namsik Yu, for answering all of the questions. I think we come to our last session, so I would conclude our beautiful and wonderful session through this presentation and discussion. It's really important for us to remain unified about how we commit and supporting the dream of unified Korea, and where the bonds of history and cultures can once again flourish between Korea and Indonesia. And we hope, by sharing this hope, looking forward to a future for Korean Peninsula, and we can go together working as the youth and participating about how we could unify together. So thank you so much for our wonderful distinguished speaker, for this session. Time is keep clocking, and I think it's time for us to saying goodbye. And I would like to give the session back to our wonderful master of ceremony. Thank you for the discussion, and see you on the next time, everyone. Time is your Maria.
Okay, thank you, Olive, for your excellent moderation and for guiding us through today's discussion. We have now reached an important part of our program, the recognition of our moderator and speakers. It is my pleasure to present Certificate of Appreciation to our moderator, to Nur Khalifah. Thank you for leading the session so well. Next to esteemed speakers who share their valuable insight with us today. Here we provide certificate symbolism for Namsik Yu. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Here we provide certificate symbolism for Hyun-seung Lee. Thank you. We appreciate your inspiring words. And here we provide certificate symbolism for General Gede Sumertha. Thank you for your valuable insights. Thank you to all our moderator and speakers for your contribution and for inspiring us to work towards a culture of peace. Now we would like to capture this moment with a virtual group photo. Please turn on your cameras and smile. I'll do the countdown. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Other styles. 3, 2, 1. Okay. More slide. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Your participation today has made this event truly special. Please don't leave our meeting yet, since we still have other agenda like quiz session with prizes for the winner. Moving on to a no less significant part of our agenda, we will now proceed with the signing of the One Dream One Korea petition. All participants, including our moderators, speakers, and all honored guests, are cordially invited to take part in this important act of support for Korean reunification. To sign the petition, please access the following link that we will send through the comment section or simply scan the QR code in the screen. We'll give you 2 minutes for sign the petition. Okay, thank you for participants who participated in the campaign. Now we are excited to bring some fun into our program with an interactive quiz session. This will be a great way to engage with the themes of our seminar while enjoying some friendly competition. I will guide you through the questions and keep track of the scores. And here's an exciting incentive. The winners of this quiz will receive special merchandise from the Global Peace Foundation Indonesia, which will be sent directly to your home. So let's get ready to test our knowledge and have some fun. This quiz session will be held in Kahoot, so please scan the QR code or fill in the code that shows. I'll give you 1 minute more for join the quiz.
Berikutnya.
Okay. Yep. Next. Next question, which number is peace building in the Sustainable Development Goals? Great, we have a Hirama for the first place. Next question. What is the main focus of peace building? We have other names for the first winner, Josh. Next question. In which global sporting event did North and South Korea march together under a unified flag for the first time? Next question. The first place still Josh. Wow. Okay, next question. Right or false? True or false? South Korea and North Korea are united. Okay, the blue one is right and the red one is false. Okay. Still Josh in the first place. Next, what year did the Korean War start? 1960 or 1988 or 1950 or 1998? The answer is 1950. And yeah, still just in the first place? Next is, what is the DMZ? Diplomatic meeting zone, or the military zone, or divided military zone, or divided military zone? Okay, first, second, and third, still. Next question, what is a common method of peace building? Military intervention, dialogue and negotiation, propaganda campaign, or economic sanctions? The answer is dialogue and negotiation. Wow, we have a new name for third place. Okay, number 9. What is a significant barrier to reunification? Economic disparity, or geographical distance, or language barriers, or ideological difference? Okay, and the last question, what role does civil society play in peace building? Promoting dialogue, providing military support, enforcing laws, or controlling media? The answer is promoting dialogues. Yep. Yep, here the awards announcement. We will recognize the winners from the quiz. In the third place, we have, I can see the name. Okay. In the third place, we have Ihsan. And the second place goes to Franz Sinaga. And finally, our first place winner is Joss. Congratulations to all winners.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone who participated. Your enthusiasm made this session a success. Winners will receive their prizes shortly, so please keep an eye on your emails for further details. Or you can,
Instagram.
yep, you can DM to our Instagram, GPF Indonesia. Thank you once again for your participation.